Welcome to this stateless code video, and in this video we're going to be talking about Agentforce. I'm Mike Dushman and I run this channel Stateless Code. Most of the videos I have here are about Ruby and Ruby on Rails, but I am a Salesforce developer by day, and occasionally I will do topics on Salesforce. So this is going to be, I don't know how many videos this will turn into, but we're going to kind of take a look at some of what Agentforce is, kind of how your org might integrate with it. I've been doing a lot of learning on Agentforce and Trailhead, so I'll kind of share some of my learnings. And in this video, we're going to kind of talk about what you need kind of as prerequisites in order to be successful in Agentforce. Spoiler alert, it's kind of mostly the fundamentals that you should have been doing all along. And then in the next video, I'll kind of take a more in-depth look at the various parts that make up Agentforce. So we'll take a look at Prompt Builder, we'll take a look at Agentforce topics, we'll take a look at Agentforce actions, and then kind of talk some about how you can integrate flows and Apex. I don't currently have an active Trailhead org that has both Agentforce and Data Cloud, but you can also configure Agentforce for retrieval augmented generation and do things like adding your knowledge base into Data Cloud libraries and upload files and kind of use unstructured data with your agents as well. And there are some super badges and stuff like that that are on the various Agentblazer trails. So you kind of have the first trail where you're Agentblazer champion, kind of get your feet wet, learn the ropes. And then there's Agentblazer Innovator is the second tier of that, where you start to actually learn about how agents and topics and actions and all those things work. And then toward the end of that, you start getting into some super badges and hands-on activities for Agentforce for Service and Prompt Builder and some of those other things. And then the third tier, which I'm currently working on, is Agentblazer Legend, where you get yourself Agentforce certified, which I plan to do later on in the month. This is September 2025. And then kind of continue diving deep. There's a super badge for using flows with Agentforce. There's a super badge for using Apex with Agentforce, which I'll hopefully complete in my video number 300 later on today. And then you've got start dealing with testing agents using Testing Center and some of the other stuff in that legend trail there. So Agentforce is an AI agent that uses GPT technology. So you're using a predictive, I think, transformer, general predictive transformer. I'm doing that from memory. To essentially, you're going to you make all your words tokens, and then you predict, the engine predicts what the next token is going to be. So it's kind of inductive reasoning trained on massive amounts of data. And then in Salesforce, you can choose which model that you use. There is on platform things like the Einstein trust layer. So you've got you're not just using a unfiltered GPT model. You're taking what you have, you're adding your org data in that to enhance your prompt. And then there's a part of Agentforce called the Einstein trust layer that protects your data from the large language models that kind of operate on it. They have contracts and agreements in place that they're not going to use your data to train their models. And then after it comes back, they filter things for kind of default for toxicity and bias and all those other things. And then harmful content. And then they'll kind of, after doing all of that, you'll get the response from the the chat. So let's take a look at kind of what I've been talking about here. So we're going to go into setup here and search for Agentforce. And you can go to Agentforce agents. I've got Agentforce turned on here. In the next video, I'll have kind of start with things turned off and kind of show you how to enable them. But right now we're just kind of getting a view of things here. And you can go here into the agent. It gives you, when you're kind of creating or editing the agent, you have this part here where you have your description, the role is kind of you're describing to the what the agent's job is. You've got guardrails about scope and various different things here. Let me see if I can open this in the Agentforce builder. So we've got here your topics, and this agent currently has one topic called booked activity management. And then in this topic, you have your classification description. You can note that this is all written in natural language. So the more English is becoming increasingly the most important programming language there is. So being able to reason about things in natural language, even as you're coding, you want to kind of be able to take your concepts and talk about them kind of almost start with pseudocode, and then you'll go into the specific kind of idiomatic implementations of whatever language you're using. And if you can kind of do that process, you'll be well equipped for interacting with agents. The scope here is where you kind of put guardrails around your agent. So if you aren't specific enough here, the agent might exhibit some unexpected behavior. And so the scope kind of keeps things, like if it's off topic, it'll try to recover from that and not give you a response. And then you have any number of instructions that you can give about kind of conditions and how your topic behaves. And then on that topic, after you've got the topic configured, and sometimes you can see things in single quotes here talking about what actions to use and stuff like that. And then we've got this topic has 3 actions here. In each action can be in this case, it's a flow. The action could be a prompt template. It could be an apex action. That's a flow, that's a flow, that's a flow. So these are all flows. Let's see what happens here. So let's say I want to cancel my booking and hit enter. Could you provide your email address and membership number so I can look at your booking details? So I'll go into the org. We'll find the famous Sophia Rodriguez, who is the most common example that's used in these Trailhead trails. Back in the builder. Move this so you can see it better. I'm only going to provide the email address and see if they prompt me now for membership number. And they do. So we've got conversation preview here. I'm going to go and try to find membership number. Paste it in. And you'll note here, it's keeping context of this conversation. So you're not coming at this from every chat that you do is 51st dates where it's forgetting the context of the conversation. So now I should be able to, and the agent now is giving me a list of my upcoming bookings. Usually there's a middle screen here that kind of goes through the reasoning that takes place here. But let's say, and you can see it was live music beach party, but it interpreted live beach party, found the right one. And that's the one that I was intending on doing. Can I Can I uncancel it? So that's kind of the idea there. So this is enabled because so the get customer information was starting there with I'm Sofia Rodriguez, this is my email, and they're like, no, you need your email and your membership number. So you've got email, you've got member number, and then that gives you enough information. In this case, you can configure that to move forward and get information based on that that customer. And so that's kind of how it works. The agent is using flows, it's using Apex, and then it's using your record data. You can use prompt templates. One of the important things to keep in mind here is that you won't get the most out of Agentforce if you haven't been doing the fundamentals correctly in your org. So, for example, Agentforce builds off of the data and permissioning that you've already got. So if you have been lazy in terms of your permissioning, not using principle of least privilege in terms of how you grant access to objects and things like that, objects, field level security, sharing, if you have not been vigilant about those fundamentals, your agent now could be putting your data at risk. So you're going to have to, like, if you've been taking shortcuts in terms of how you like the classic next save and new without doing anything in your fields, like if you've been doing this correctly, if you go into object manager, if you've got a description and help text on your fields here, and we'll show that Salesforce hasn't been great about doing this themselves. So let's say that we go to industry. We've got to do this in Salesforce Classic because of some cross-browser stuff as of 2025. And you can see here, help text is blank, description is blank. So like even the standard fields in Salesforce haven't been great and disciplined about kind of having good descriptions written and stuff like that for these things. And if you've been doing this in a disciplined manner, you've been doing description, you've been doing help text, and your org has been around for years, you've been training your Agentforce agent all along by having good metadata around, like, say, your custom fields, by having taking care about your sharing rules and your role hierarchy and your field level security, and having if your org is older than kind of the permission set model, then you've got to kind of reckon with permissions based on profiles and kind of trying to get that into a more functionality based way of doing things. And then also when you go to flows, if you've been doing flows in a kind of the right way, if you've been doing good declarative software engineering, your agents will have better outcomes from your flows. So things like putting descriptions for your flow variables and your flow actions and steps and stuff like that, and not having a cognitively complex monstrosity of a flow, the one flow to rule them all type of thing. You're going to wind up having to refactor those flows in order for you to reap the full benefit of Agentforce. So both flows and your kind of your functions and Apex, Lightning Web Components and stuff like that, you want to take your large, whatever you're doing, break it down into small reusable functions. If you're dealing with flows, you'll break them into small reusable auto launch subflows. And then those subflows, if you've been doing this all along, can now be invoked by Agentforce as an action. You've got kind of discipline around your input variables. You've got good descriptions about your variables and about your actions and about your flow itself. If you've been doing those things right, then you've been setting up your agent for success. If you haven't been, like, if you've been cutting corners in those regards, you need to get your house in order, because, like, if you're kind of spiraling down in technical debt, Agentforce isn't going to save you from that. It is going to actually potentially exasperate the risk and the the need to kind of get your house in order. You're going to have to eat your vegetables in terms of doing the fundamentals right before you can kind of have dessert as um, being able to use Agentforce. So I think we'll end things here for this video. We'll come back and take a deeper dive into configuring Prompt Builder, uh, creating some topics, creating some actions, and then we'll try to play around with seeing if we can make an agent impersonate Cookie Monster. So that ends it for this. If you want to get those next videos regarding Agentforce and all the other content that we do here, hit us with a subscribe. If you've had other experiences via Agentforce, especially if you've done it in production, which I think is still a very small percentage of overall the Salesforce talent ecosystem. I've only done this with Trailhead. If you've been working with this in production, what kind of other things would you want to note? And what insights do you have? What pitfalls do you see that I haven't called out here? Feel free to hit us in the comments, and see you in the next video. Thanks for watching this Stateless Code video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and spread the word. Check out our growing library of videos on our social media channels. Follow us at Stateless Code and Taxation is Theft. Now you can see that it is